I want to ask you as well, like, what point to focus
Yeah,
on as well. That's
sure.
okay.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, cool.
absolutely.
All right, so the next one is Shen.
You got it.
Bam!
Thank God.
Thank God. Yeah. And this is for the second chakra.
Second chakra. All right.
But now, is it for the second chakra as a whole, or just an aspect of the second chakra?
No, it's the second chakra as a whole.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And that's like that hara area. This.
Well, it's separated, right? So again, like this may be a time to just sort of say for people that are normally used to working with seven chakras
Uh-huh.
in the Tibetan culture, they break it into nine. And
Okay.
certain of the Chinese, have taken that aspect as well. The monastics, Taoists particularly do nine chakras, and the reason is this is the explanation that was given to me. Since most of the chakras of the seven and nine do line up, there's only a couple configurations of difference, right? So a lot of times people talk like in different modalities in yoga and different all about the hara, right? So the hara area, which is the lower abdomen, and they see that as a single chakra for the most part. And so, but in Tibet, this is exactly the words used. They're a little anal, as far as like chakra configuration and energetic configuration, of course. So they break that into, basically like different chakras. They break it into separate chakras. So there's actually, instead of just the one, they break it into a few. So but the configuration is that they're so close physically that they sort of illuminate that area in a much greater capacity than the others. And so because of that, if you're not doing specific exercises to delve deeper into that and dissect it a bit, it looks like one big chakra there. And so that's how it, became, that was their explanation for how it became seven instead of nine. So that's that. Otherwise, most of them line up pretty well, right?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So basically, through their seeing, they could see. They deepened their perception to be able to identify that
right,
chakra has a few separate components,
correct.
and they could actually perceive that was the case. And these diagrams were designed to stimulate them individually instead
Because
of
they
just
saw
as
they
a
had
whole.
individual function
Right.
instead of just a broad territory function.
So this one, Shen, and the next one are both
Within
dominantly
that
within.
hara area.
I
Yeah.
see. And
Yeah.
is it the one after that as well, or just these next two?
No, just those two.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So Shen. So its primary function is to coordinate the chakras and the organs together, right? So it's like, again, where let's say Chu stimulates and tones them, builds them up. Shen actually makes them more coordinated together. So in focusing on that and stimulating that chakra, it actually, helps them to communicate between each other, but also carrying over to the organs again. So the organs communicate and function, better with each other, on a regular basis when it's stimulated and worked in a good way. So that's how it was. There are also some of the other correspondences they put with this particular chakra is the generation of power within the chakras themselves. So it has and I think it sort of links together with that coordinating factor, that if things are working in tandem and in harmony together, they become stronger than their individual parts, right? So they have this synergistic action that makes them, resonate in a stronger way. So Shen facilitates that in this way. They also think that Shen has a couple of particular abilities to because it's linked to the sexual areas, right? It's linked to youthfulness. Like the more that you stimulate this, the more youthful one becomes, or at least the potential is there. It's easier to also with Shen, it's easier to go more inward, to be able to focus on going inside, yourself. So like a deeper meditative state rather than, one where you may be at now, or without stimulating that, it just sort of you might get to a deeper state, but Shen helps facilitate that even deeper level of stillness, basically. And I'm trying to think of that the last one. Basically, Shen, I'm trying to think of the best way to actually say this in English. It's basically that it, in the way that it stimulates an ease of going more, deeper internally, it has a tendency, working on this chakra has a tendency for you to isolate and dissipate your sensory organs. So like you can reduce your vision, you can reduce your hearing, you can reduce your sense of smell or taste and tactile sensation. So it's not uncommon for people to feel like some of their body parts have fallen asleep or that type of thing, even though you're not there long enough for them to do that, right? You're not cutting off circulation by any means. So, but stimulating that organ, because that's one of the ways that we go deeper, right? Is we call it profound relaxation, right? Where it's like, as you relax deeper and deeper and deeper, you start to lose your senses. Obviously close your eyes, you're going to lose your vision, but how do you close your ears? So this developing this chakra helps you to do that, to reach that state of profound relaxation in a much easier way. It's one of those territories that's not talked about much, but it has obviously great function, in that. So, everybody can understand how going deeper in your meditation would be a good thing, but not everybody would have a context for reducing your senses to the point where they're not there. And but it takes away that stimulus, right, of the outside world, so that you're able to really focus on that, sort of isolating yourself, being like in an isolation tank, basically, where there's no sound and you don't have any sensation because the water's at the temperature of your body, and there's really no sense of smell or taste, obviously, and vision, it's dark, right, so that you're not going to be in there for that. So it's going to kind of promote that same sense. So it's sort of like carrying an isolation tank around with you all the time when it's worked in a good way.
So this is really going to help us with all of our meditations, being able to go deeper internal and to bring the senses offline for the
Right.
profound relaxation.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that there's anything that wouldn't be helped by or have a benefit from increased coordination between all the units. It's like,
yeah.
But yeah, this helps facilitate that. So it's not just coordinating the chakras, but coordinating the organs, and then coordinating everything so that everything starts to get you to go deeper inside. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. So the configuration, hand-wise, the Kinja itself. So it's like Chu, but I'm taking the middle fingers and putting over the tips of the index fingers. Yep. It can be a little bit farther back, but basically it's, other than that, it's just like Chu. Fingers are still interlaced. Index fingers together, thumbs together. Thumbs are pointed just like Chu, and all I'm doing is bringing the middle fingers up and putting them over the top. That's it. The beam comes out of the index fingers just like Chu.
And the hand is still open. The palms are still...
Absolutely. Palms are still open. Yep. That's always the case. Okay. So that's it. That's the configuration. The breathing is exactly the same as Chu. The breathing never alters. That's pretty much the same. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so the diagram...
Yep.
When the beam is coming out of your index fingers, and where on the diagram should we be focusing our attention, that beam of light?
At this point, we're going to focus at that point at the top, right? So that it can be anywhere in that little triangle at the top.
Inside of it.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Not at the tip at the top, not at the base.
Just anywhere in the body of that. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Simple enough.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. That's good. That's good.
Cool.
All right. Thanks. And we'll move on to the next one.
Move on to the next.
Cool. Okay, so so we forgot to say where the Shen is located in the body.
Okay.
So, not to put extra emphasis on it or extra attention on it.
But let's differentiate it. Let's
Yeah.
be anal like the Tibetans.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So all right. So Shen, or the second chakra, is right at the base of the genitals. And what does that mean? So basically, on the front of the body, there's the pubic bone, right? So it's going to be just above that. There are acupuncture points there as well, but that's basically the line of the chakra. So if you were to take a lot of times they say if you were to take a pipe and go straight through the body at that point, it would Chu and Shen would line up at opposite sides, right? Shen would be at the front of the body where the sacrum is, and Chu would be in the back, right? So if you put a line between Chu and Shen, it would be a direct line access between that pubic bone and the sacrum.
Huh.
So it's a direct line. That's, part of the energetic configuration they think that makes it coordinate everything together.
Right.
So, yep. So that's where that one is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Just want to make sure we got that in
Yeah.
there. So, and do you think that it helps too to know like precisely the area of the body
Oh,
that
sure.
that's located as you're doing the exercise? Not that you need to focus on it,
No.
but just having the awareness that that's exactly where that chakra is located and being stimulated and, all that. Just so
Because
that,
as it gets more toned, as it gets more stimulated, as it becomes, moves more fast, and builds over time, you'll get certain sensations in that area. So if your awareness is already, you have an idea of where that is, it's not going to freak anybody out. If they start having sensations there, it's not going to be like, oh, oh, what's that? Is that something wrong? Because most people's heads go, is there something wrong? I've got a weird feeling there. It's like, no, that's the, like, let's say the physical landmark location of that chakra. Obviously it's bigger than that, but that's the area, that's the
right.
territory. So I always think, because it's very, as you do this more and more, as you do it longer and longer from longer periods of time, you will get sensations in those physical locations. They're still, again, like we said before, they're, that first layer, that etheric layer of energy, right, that's closest to the physical body. We get sensations, the physical sensations that we feel when we're meditating or whatever, like, oh, there's something crawling up my leg, or oh, there's, you look, there's nothing there, right? Those phantom sort of feelings, right, transferring, that's all in the etheric, right? So that's in that etheric layer, and that's really what's being stimulated there. It's that etheric layer is what you're feeling. There's nothing physically happening in that area, although many times it can feel like something physical is happening there, but it's just that a stronger etheric sensitivity in that place, and that energy is really moving at that point. So yeah. So
But it also doesn't mean that if we don't have those sensations, it's not working.
no, it usually takes quite a bit of time. And the only reason we're doing it now is just so that people don't freak out if something does, happen, because we don't know what level
Right.
everybody's at.
And so we know what we're doing and where in the
Yeah,
body we're
and to
stimulating.
just to calm down. It's like, we expect, again, with any phenomena, for me it's important. It's like, yep, you acknowledge it and you let it go. If there's something that continuously happens, then we address it. But it's like, for the most part, I acknowledge anything that goes on and I just let it go. If it's something that's really important, it'll come back to me. So don't feel like, any phenomena that you let go, if it's something that is really crucial to your being, it's going to come back. It's not going to let you rest. So it's always good to know that, because I think people hedge a little bit, because they're thinking, if I let that go, I'll never see it again, or I'll never feel it again, or maybe that was some important message that I'm supposed to get. And it's like, no, anything that's that important, you're going to get it. Nothing's going to let you rest until you get it. Okay, so you can easily let phenomena go, and it'll come back if it's really important. Otherwise, it's just something that's offering another type of distraction off the path, off your work. So I almost always, I just acknowledge what it is. Oh, there's that feeling, and then I let it go and go back to what I'm doing. That's I think the most beneficial way of doing those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome.